Yo, it's NBA draft night, ladies and gentlemen. We know the Chicago Bulls don't have anything that they can get into currently right now this morning for tonight's NBA draft. So, what are the expectations? Will the Bulls get in? Will someone get traded? Will the Bulls just wait and go undrafted? Y'all already know we're going to talk about it, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, holding it down on today's daily episode for me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shake that notification bell so every time we drop, you be the first ones to know. Now look, we know the NBA draft is tonight. The Chicago Bulls don't have any picks in the first round nor the second round. Will they go ahead and get involved is the first question. So the first question is, will they get involved? What do the Chicago Bulls have to offer? We already know that some of their prized possessions is number one, Zach LaVine. He's the highly, sought out guy that the Chicago Bulls have. Do the Bulls decide to go ahead and depart with that guy? Me personally, I think it's very unlikely with the guy still having about 4 years left on his contract and still making that money and still relatively young at 28 years old in his basketball career. So I don't know if that's what the Chicago Bulls are willing to do. Do they look at moving DeMar DeRozan? I know it's been a lot of it's a lot of rumors circling around right now around the NBA draft surrounding DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. But DeMar DeRozan, 1 year left on his contract, expecting somewhere upwards of a 4-year, $150 million contract is what's being reported, or what he's looking to get in his extension after this year. So that's a guy that the Chicago Bulls have on. But what is the value? What value does he bring? There will be some people that argue that says he does not have that much value. I will disagree. I still think that you can go ahead and get something for him, but I don't know if that's what's in the Chicago Bulls plans as right now, as we looking at it at this morning. Anything can change. Then I think another prized possession that the Chicago Bulls have is Alex Caruso, Swiss Army knife, a guy who can come in and do a little bit of everything. Definitely know he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. So we know that I believe that the Golden State Warriors were were one of the teams that was calling about Alex Caruso near the trade deadline. So is that something that the Chicago Bulls want to entertain going into draft night, or will they just stand pat? And then we know that a lot of teams love what they see in Patrick Williams. There are some GMs, some teams that believe that they can take this guy skill set and attributes and the length that he is and the three-point shooting that, exploded off from the three-point line from the perimeter last season, over 40%. Some teams like, man, we can use that. We can use him as a 3. We can use him as a 4. He's relatively young, still 21 years old. That's another prized possession for your Chicago Bulls. I haven't heard much about Kobe White. Haven't heard much about Ayo Dosunmu, but I do think they can be included in some type of trade talks if the Bulls are willing to go that route, but we just don't know how committed they are in letting these young players go. So we got to just wait to see what happens. Me personally, I think that these guys have been entertaining some calls, have been making some calls, but they probably haven't seen a deal that makes the most sense for them. I know that there's a lot of speculation. You know what I'm saying? I know that with Tyus Jones recently going over to the Washington Wizards, there are some news outlets saying, hey, go all in for your point guard of the future. He's relatively healthy. He's improved every single year. He upped his three-point shooting this past season, you know what I'm saying, with attempts and percentage-wise, you know what I'm saying? So he went up to 4 attempts per game coming off the bench, and he took that three-point shooter percentage up to 37%. So that's a guy that a lot of media outlets want the Chicago Bulls to go all in for. So is that something that they're willing to do? I don't know if AK and Mark Eversley are willing to depart with some of those draft picks. They do own their own first round draft pick next season. I don't know how willing they are to go ahead and make a deal of that sort and include some type of draft capital, especially after having to not be included in this draft because they had to give up their first round pick to the Orlando Magic that was included in the Nikola Vucevic trade. We know that Nikola Vucevic is expected to sign a 3-year deal with the Chicago Bulls. Nothing solidified or in stone yet, but that is the expectation. And I just don't know what the Chicago Bulls want to do right now. So if we keep moving on, we talking about it, we looking at it and things like that. Can the Chicago Bulls get in? I will say they can get in, but is that something that these guys want to do? Y'all heard it many a times. I'm not of the mindset of moving Zach LaVine unless the trade deal is something spectacular. If you want to go ahead and do something like that, it has to be for multiple young pieces, and they put out their asking price of first round picks, etc., something that will spice up the deal and cause the Chicago Bulls to be like, okay, cool, we could do this deal. I'm of the mindset. I think that the guy that should be on the move is DeMar DeRozan. I don't see it's tough to see right now, especially with our front office, because we know the history of these of AK. He typically just chills, let this thing works itself out, build through the draft, probably look at some free agents like that. And then with the news of DJJ declining his player option, you added more money. Now you will be able to go in, use the full level exception, the mid-level exception to see what free agent can you add on to that. I don't know how true it is, but I seen that that was a mock trade regarding DeMar DeRozan, and it was DeMar DeRozan for Mo Bamba, Max Christie, 2029 first round pick, and I believe the other player was D'Angelo Russell. So that honestly, that's something you will have to sit down and look at for sure. You will have to think about that for sure. You'll get you a nice point guard. You can get Mo Bamba in as a 4, move Patrick Williams to the 3, and Max Christie could be an okay rotational piece. And then you wait 6 years for your first round pick. I don't know how I feel about that first round pick. I don't know if I want to get in business with the Los Angeles Lakers in that sense. But it's something that you will have to consider or think about if you really, really want to make changes. I'm of the mindset that these guys are really thinking about running this quarterback. That's just how I'm looking at it. I'm really thinking that they wanted to run this quarterback because if you do get in any trade business with the Lakers, I'm of the mindset, let's swap out Max Christie with a Jared Vanderbilt. I think that'll be a good fit for the Chicago Bulls. But then again, you can't have it all when you're looking at some of these trade deals, and the deal has to make sense for both sides. And I don't know if the Los Angeles Lakers feel like if that's too much for to give up for a player like DeMar DeRozan, but he does have value. He does have something that he can bring to a team. He will be healthy. He will be able to give you 20 plus points per game. He will be a guy who can create his own shot and draw contact in tough situations to where that's something that other teams will need, because if you got your guys going in, you got your 2 stars going in, or whoever the star is going in, once the playoffs start, those guys get keyed in on, and then it comes down to who can create their own shot. DeMar DeRozan, he adds value in that aspect. So that's something that we'll have to think about. Will the Bulls go free agent? Will they go looking at some of the undrafted guys? I'm of the mindset is saying the undrafted guys really wouldn't mean much to me, simply because I question the Chicago Bulls player development staff. We still haven't seen Marko Simonovic. We don't know how good Dalen Terry really can be with the limited minutes and the limited action that he got last season. We have not seen we seen Ayo Dosunmu regress. We call it the sophomore slump. Okay, cool. Excuse me. Okay, cool, fine. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know how sold I am on going undrafted, because we might just take those guys and just stick them into the G League and nothing may not even pan out for them, because the Chicago Bulls have done things like that in the past with players like Max Strus. He was on a team, Bulls didn't use him and didn't find any value in him. They let him go. A few years prior to that, they had Spencer Dinwiddie in the Chicago Bulls uniform. Could have been a nice rotational piece. Didn't do anything with him. So I'm not putting that much stock into trusting our front office and our coaching staff to go ahead and develop undrafted rookie free agents. I'm not really that sold on it. So the expectation for me is just to remain even keel and to see what the hell happens. Let's see what the Chicago Bulls can do. That's the expectations. Will they even do anything? We seen at the trade deadline, a lot of us was calling for them. Shy Bulls podcast was definitely one of those podcasts calling for the Chicago Bulls to make a move to better the team. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And then you got guys like Patrick Beverley, who is just on the team, who will be a free agent, but is commanding $13 million from his words. Said he wants to get somewhere around $13 million per. So he says run it back. I honestly think they will run it back. I don't know if he will be a part of the run it back crew, but I mean, it wouldn't be bad. But just at the price tag that he's asking is just something that I wouldn't be too sold on. Plus, I still think that just adding him back would still not fix some of the deficiencies that the Chicago Bulls currently have, which is size and three-point shooting. We're at the bottom of the league in attempts. But the crazy thing is that we have a high percentage of made free throws. So basically, we're not taking a lot of them. And when we are taking them, we are making them. But I think that the volume needs to increase. You need to go ahead and add floor spacing. I think players, if you want to go all in and go look at Tyus Jones, he could add something to that. We know he's a solid facilitator and he can be able to do something. Or if you're going to sit out on the market, listen to other teams. If you go out there, Russell Westbrook, that doesn't solve all your three-point shooting stuff, but it does give you something, a guy who's going to penetrate and kick for sure. So it's or D'Angelo Russell. Do you entertain that? He's up to be a free agent. So do you want to get into business with the Los Angeles Lakers? I'm not too sure about that, especially if you can retain some of that draft capital. So it's a lot of things, man. But my expectations for tonight is just remain even keel, wait to see what happens, and hope that the Chicago Bulls doesn't do anything stupid. That's it. Because if you do something stupid, we're in a rude awakening. It's already the future is already looking bleak for us. It's already blurry. It's already clouded. Whatever, however you want to put it. But it is what it is. That's how I'm gonna just put it out there. The expectation for me is to remain even keel. That's it, and wait to see what happens if anything happens. Because we seen Marcus Smart just get moved, Kristaps Porzingis just got moved, and then Tyus Jones just got moved. Will the Washington Wizards be willing to do something else? We don't know yet. But that's it for me today. Hey, y'all already know. Hit the comment box. Let me know how y'all feeling about everything we talked about today. What are your expectations for the Chicago Bulls in tonight's NBA draft? Will they get in? Will somebody on the team get traded, or will the Bulls just stand pat and wait for the undrafted rookie free agents? Y'all already know this is another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. I'm Bobby. Go ahead and send a text message in. Send a voicemail in at 773-242-9219. And make sure you're on NBA Central tonight. We will be live calling the NBA draft to break it down to see who got better and see who got worse. Hey, but y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.